Hi everyone, my name's Pan, aka the Greek Leek, and welcome to Ace Podcast Nation. Tonight's show is about Wales football team all-time best 11. We've had some amazing footballers in our time for such a small nation of just over 3 million people. We really have produced some incredible footballers over the years. It's a very difficult one to pick, obviously, if you weren't born when certain players were playing. But you can only go on what you think or who you think would be in that best 11. And this is the great thing for you as fans to come on and make some comments about who you think should be in Wales' all-time football 11 squad team. So, yeah, we'll crack on. We'll start with the goalkeeper, which is probably one of the easiest ones to pick. I think we've had some great keepers in our time, reading the history books, Kelsey of Arsenal, etc. But I think without question, 99% of fans would choose Neville Southall, Big Nev of Everton legends, won a stack of trophies in his time as a player, highly regarded by fellow professionals, and who said he's one of the best British keepers of all time. So Big Nev, definitely our number one. I'll go for a flat back four because we've had so many talented forward players. So we're going to go for a kind of more defensive looking, if you like, with the full backs, not really as wing backs. The right back, again, we've had some really quality right backs over the years. In recent times, Mark Delaney of Aston Villa. But for me, and it might be a little bit controversial because people have different ideas, but for me, Robbie James was an outstanding player. No longer with us, God rest his soul, but he was a very, very good football player. He was with Swansea, obviously, went from 4th division to what is now the Premier League. And he had a very, very good football career. Absolute, really good pass of the ball, scored goals as well. Good tackler, someone you could rely on. A lot of ability, and underrated, very underrated. So for me, Robbie James would be my right back. Left back, I'm going to go for again. We've had some very good left backs. I've got to mention Neil Taylor because obviously he was in the Euros, and he's been a good servant for Wales. We've had some other good left backs in our time, but obviously players unfortunately like Paul Bowden are remembered for penalty misses. But for me, because obviously we've got so many quality midfielders and strikers to choose, I've had to find a place for Gary Speed. And again, sadly not with us, but Gary Speed, without question, has been a legend for Wales and a legend for Leeds United. He also played for Everton and Newcastle. Highly respected footballer, excellent work ethic, and obviously did a huge amount for Wales in terms of becoming more professional in its off-field approach when he became the manager. So Gary Speed would, and again, someone who scores goals, excellent header of the ball. So Gary would be my left back. Centre defence. This could be, again, a little bit controversial because, again, we've had some really good central defenders. I'd have to say Ashley Williams has to be mentioned because of being an outstanding leader and captain and certainly underrated. And he was a fantastic servant for Wales. We've had other fantastic defenders, I think Mike England as well. But for me, I'd have to choose Kevin Radcliffe, again, Everton legend, number of trophies in his time, fantastic left-sided player, very good passer of the ball, very quick. And Kevin Radcliffe, for me, would definitely be in our defence. For his partner in defence, this is a really tough one because who I'm going to mention now is probably could be regarded as the greatest Welsh player of all time, is regarded as the best non-Italian player who ever played for Juventus. And that's an incredible accolade when you consider they had Platini and Boniek in their time. And this guy, obviously, if he'd had been fit against Brazil in 1958, against Brazil and obviously the young 17-year-old Pele. Who knows if Wales could have gone on to win that World Cup? But without question, John Charles would be in the team. And I'm putting him at centre half because he was such a brilliant footballer, adaptable, and again, from set pieces, he was an incredible striker. Amount of goals he scored for Juventus in those 3 or 4 years was incredible. Also played for Leeds United as well. So I'd have John Charles with Kevin Ratcliffe. So we're on to the midfield now, and we'll go for the defensive midfielder. Again, a couple of players we could have considered, but I think in more recent times, a legend for Wales has been absolutely outstanding. Again, underrated as a player. Played for Liverpool, Swansea, to name but 2 of the teams he played for. But I'd have to go for Joe Allen. Absolute tremendous servant for Wales. Gave 110% every time he pulled on that Red Dragon shirt, and he was probably in the Euros for 2016. You'd have to say that he was one of the outstanding midfielders who played for us. So for me, Joe Allen would be that sort of holding midfielder, breaking play up. Then we're looking at the forwards, and that's where it gets a bit tricky. So we'll start on the wings. I think, again, if you look back, we really have had some really good wingers in our time. Cliff Jones of the double winning side for Tottenham has to be up there. If I was having a substitute, I'd definitely have Cliff Jones. Also, I think he was in the 1958 World Cup squad. So really tough one on Cliff not to be in the first 11. Some fans, would look at this player as someone who you could say let us down at times, not turn up for friendlies, but without question, this guy has to be in the first 11. He's an absolute legend of a football player, most appearances ever for Manchester United, incredible amount of trophies won, one of the best modern day wingers in British football, ripped up the Premier League in his pomp. Question marks you could say about it for Wales, but I do think that he on his day, if you put our best 11 together, he would have to be in there. I think so. Ryan Giggs for me would be on one wing, and the other would be who a lot of people say is our greatest ever player is Gareth Bale. Gareth has had an incredible career with Real Madrid and Spurs, and an absolute, and Southampton as well. But he started his career absolute legend. Could be regarded as the greatest. I think he probably is regarded as the greatest Welsh footballer because he sort of has pushed us forward to get to these 2 Euros and a World Cup, which is our most successful period in our history. So Gareth, absolutely outstanding. Some of the games he's played for us, he's won them on his own. You could say some of his goals. Incredible player and a great ambassador for Wales. Absolutely love playing for Wales, passionate about his country. So Gareth has to be there. And then for the attacking midfielder position, again, I think there's been a couple of good players. I used to like Peter Nicholas when I was growing up, but for me, I'd have to choose Aaron Ramsey of Arsenal. Obviously, played for Cardiff as well and Juventus and other clubs. But Aaron Ramsey at his best was absolutely outstanding. He was one of the players of the tournament in Euro 2016. He had a very, very good career at Arsenal. Technically on another planet to any midfielder I saw. So he has to be in there, scored a few goals, and really was, and still is, at this moment, so proud to put on the Welsh shirt. And then I've gone for the front 2, which again is tricky because you're looking at players in the history of Wales who really scored a few goals. Trevor Ford, Ivor Allchurch, these type of players have obviously been fantastic in their day. But I've had to sort of look at it from the point of view of who would be the best pairing. we've had Dean Saunders, we've had Craig Bellamy, very, very good international footballers for Wales, and highly talented. But I think for me, our number 9, without question, although say without question, you could say John Charles, would be Ian Rush, because you'd have to find a place for John Charles and Ian Rush. Ian Rush, the absolute all-time leading goal scorer at Liverpool Football Club, an absolute legend, my favourite football player of all time. One of the first matches I ever saw really was Liverpool on TV, because we never had satellite TV, etc. So I grew up loving Ian Rush. Every time he scored a goal, he was lethal, absolutely lethal, and did exceptionally well for Wales. I think he's our second highest goal scorer of all time, behind Gareth Bale. So yeah, Ian has to be in there, and alongside Ian Rush, I think from how he performed with Ian Rush really as a partnership. So that's how I've looked at it. He's a guy who incredibly strong, brilliant at holding the ball up, incredible career at Manchester United. Again, scored a number of goals, went to Barcelona as well, and had a great understanding with Ian Rush. Is the legend that he is, Mark Sparky Hughes. So yeah, that's the team. I'll be interested to see what you think, whether you obviously probably disagree with some of my choices. It's not obviously easy, especially if you're of a generation where you've only seen players from the 80s and sort of researched the history books pre that time. But obviously maybe some of our older viewers, especially players like Cliff Jones, might have different views, but some of our younger viewers as well might have different views as well. So yeah, great to be on the show and put the Wales All-Time 11 together. But let me know your thoughts. What you think, who do you think should be in there? What do you think the players I picked in the best 11? And how do you think they would do? I think, again, that's a big thing. If this team was playing in the World Cup in Qatar, I think that team would go quite far, definitely quarterfinals, and who knows. So, yeah, get your thoughts in, and look forward to hearing from you.